Now you might have noticed when I was painting up here that I lost a lot of the good texture that would make this believable. So as I alt-click to sample this area with the clone stamp tool and then paint, you'll notice that I'm starting to get what I call clone stamp mush. You get this whole area over here that's just a bunch of flat pixels, and as I zoom out here, this becomes very non-believable. There's a lot of really nice detail in these waves over here, and then it's just kind of flat and ugly and mushy right over there. So we have some tools to remedy this. When we start losing texture because of the clone stamp tool, or if we just want to transplant a texture into another area, this is the way to do it. I'm going to zoom back in to my sailboat here. And underneath this tool, which is the Spot Healing Brush tool, there is the regular Healing Brush tool. Now that tooltip needs to just get out of my way so you can see what's going on here. There we go. There's the Healing Brush tool. And so what I'm going to do is the same as before. I'm going to Alt-click to sample. But this time I'm not sampling all of those pixels. I'm only sampling the texture information. So as I go over here and start painting, that texture information blends in with the color information that's already there. Now we're seeing some of this orangish shade kind of peeking in here. And that's because I accidentally picked up some of the sailboat as well. So it blended this ocean texture into the ocean color and some of the sail color. So I'm going to undo that. Now I'm going to come back to this and fix this with another tool. But for now, let me show you that you could use the Healing Brush tool to do any one of a number of things. If I wanted to use this same texture, in other words, this ocean texture here, this has a little bit more detail right here. Let me Alt-click that and use that. And let me just use the hand tool, kind of pan up here. If I start painting in the sky, for example, initially when we paint, it doesn't really look all that impressive. It looks like we just copied and pasted the ocean in the sky. But once I let go, what's going to happen is it's going to blend the texture information of my ocean here into the color information of the sky. Watch this. Ooh, very interesting. So you can see even where the clouds kind of made this a little bit more bright. So it's a nice way to not only repair missing textures, but also to put texture in areas that didn't have texture there before. I'm going to hit Command Z or Control Z to undo that. Now, the Healing Brush tool is great. It feels just like the clone stamp tool when you're using it. It's a very handy tool, but there is one that I prefer to that. Underneath the Healing Brush tool is the Patch tool. The Patch tool kind of looks like a lasso because it functions like a lasso. So what I'm going to do is drag an area, like a marquee selection, like with the lasso tool, around the area that I want fixed. And I have just a regular selection so far. But now with the Patch tool, what I can do is go inside of that area, and I get this icon here, and click and drag to the area that I want to use to fix the texture here. So I could keep moving around, and notice it's giving me a live update here, depending on what area I'm over here. This is a different color, but I like this texture here, so I'm going to let go. And it uses the color of that area, but the texture of this area over here. Command D or Control D to deselect, and this looks much better. It's not perfect. We'd probably want to use a more noisy texture, but you get the idea. Also be aware with the Patch tool that I can use these other selection tools that we've been using. Say, for example, I could use the lasso tool, and I could come over here with the rectangular marquee tool, and I could hold Shift and add to this area. Basically using all the marquee tools and all the lasso tools and all the selection tools that we have available to us. Then we could come over to here to the Patch tool and then move it and adjust it. So we could make our selection somewhere else and then just come back here with the Patch tool and then patch the texture.